6 o'clock. This meeting of the Klein ISD Board of Trustees is now open. Representing the quorum tonight are Kathy Arlano, Ronnie Anderson, Julie Bennis, Doug James, and Chris Todd, and myself, George Ann Wright-Meyer. As provided by the Texas Governmental Code, the Board of Trustees will now go into closed session in accordance with sections 551.071, private consultation with the board's attorney regarding all matters as authorized by law, including board governance. 551.072, discussing purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. 551.074, discussing employment, evaluation, or discipline of personnel, including board governance and superintendent's evaluation and contract. 551.076, discussing security, personnel, and devices. 551.082, discussing disciplinary matters or complaints regarding school children and/or school district employees. 551.0821, discussing personally identifiable information about public school students. 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. The meeting of the Board of Trustees will reconvene in public at approximately 7 p.m. May I have your attention, please? Good evening. I know that many of you could had many choices of where you would be tonight, and I thank you for being here to support us. The support of our community is very, very important to this district, to our students, teachers, staff, and to this board. It is now 7 p.m., and the meeting of the Klein ISD Board of Trustees is reconvened. If you have not done so, please silence your cell phone at this time. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are a school district of approximately 53,000 students and 6,600 employees, and more than 25,000 active volunteers in this district. We also appreciate when members of the community and staff attend our meetings. Our shared vision is to ensure that every student enters with a promise and exit with a purpose. I think I could probably hesitate and y'all could finish that. All of us working together, parents, teachers, staff, and community, will make that happen by focusing on pathways, challenge, equity, leadership, and continuous improvement. Thank you for partnering with us. You will note on tonight's agenda, a school district resident, employee, vendor, or potential vendor has an opportunity to address the Board of Trustees for 4 specific purposes. If anyone in the audience would like to address the Board of Trustees for any of the 4 listed reasons, would you please come forward and register with Mr. Doug James or Ms. Christine Jackson at the table located to my right, or here is Mr. James, if you haven't done so already. Tonight, Mr. Ronnie Anderson will lead us in prayer. Okay?
Would you all stand and pray with me? Father, thanks so much for giving us another night for us to get together. And thank you for just children. Thank you for kids. That's the bottom line and the reason we're here. And I just ask that you would equip us to be mindful of them in all of our decisions, and that we would make decisions and think of them in ways that we can bless them beyond their imagination. And thank you for their imagination and the way it blesses us back, the way we get to honor them, and just the great contribution that they all have as they walk across a stage, as they complete their journey here through our district. Just pray that your hand would be on us tonight, that we would just keep them front and center. And we ask this all in your perfect name. Amen.
Amen. If you will remain standing, we are honored to have a Klein ISD That's really cool. School board meetings must be conducted in accordance with strict Texas laws. For example, we cannot vote on any item that is not listed on the agenda. In fact, we may not publicly discuss items that do not appear on the agenda. All of our voting must be in public, but we can privately discuss items regarding personnel, the discipline of students, the acquisition of school sites, matters of school security, and specific items requiring legal advice. However, the final vote must be in complete view of the public. Please understand that the meeting is for the board to have discussion, to deliberate, and to take action. I would ask that you refrain from making comments or any public demonstrations during the meeting to allow us to focus on the matters before us. The superintendent, in consultation with the board president, myself, prepares the agenda and notice of meeting, which was distributed to each trustee 1 week before the Monday night meeting. If individual board members have questions, they often call the superintendent prior to the meeting. Therefore, on many items recommended for the approval, the trustees can quickly determine if they agree. If we seem to be moving quickly through the agenda, it is only because we are prepared to make a decision without further question or discussion. We deeply appreciate the public trust that you have bestowed upon us and will continue to work diligently with the school administration on behalf of your children. Dr. Champion, we are ready to begin with tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Rottmeyer, and I would like to thank Ronnie Anderson for getting us that cool video on the pledge. That really was fantastic. Tonight, Dr. Jenny McGowan is here. She's going to join us for a special presentation in honor of our 7 favorite volunteers in Klein ISD.
Good evening, President Reitmeyer, members of the board, Dr. Champion, Ms. Spalding, and Klein ISD family. January is School Board Recognition Month, and we join other districts across the state to thank our board members for their dedication and their willingness to serve as advocates for our children and for public education. As elected officials, our trustees are the voice of our Klein community, serving first and foremost, always in the best interest of our students. Even though we make a special effort in January to show appreciation to our board members, we realize that their many contributions reflect a year-round commitment. These unpaid servants of the Klein community generously give their time to ensure that decisions directly affecting schools are made by representatives of our community, people who live in Klein and who know our educators, parents, and students. Let's take a look at this video to see a few of the ways our board serves in Klein ISD.
Thank you and gracias.
When you build that genuine connection with the teacher and the students themselves, they get to genuinely express how they feel, and we've taught them that, acting out isn't the right way to go about things. So they talk about how they're feeling, how they can fix the situation, conflict resolution, and self-regulation.
We are really blessed to have the board support in terms of actually this whole wing, the 6th grade wing, has allowed us to better serve our students.
Our kids came through the door, and that's really all that mattered. Once they step foot through the doors, it's about making sure that this is a place where they want to be.
I really appreciate the teachers and the staff taking their time out of their evenings to teach us parents, stuff that we need to help our children grow.
Personally, I came here because I'm 2 years behind, and now I'm graduating a year earlier than I normally would. So this school has really, really helped me. It makes you a better person. They want to help you graduate, and they make you ready for life, and they're a family.
Our board members shoulder critical responsibilities and often difficult decision-making. Their ultimate goal focuses on ensuring that every student in Klein ISD enters with a promise and exits with a purpose. Public schools prepare students to be productive citizens and leaders of tomorrow. And our Klein ISD board members act as advocates for our students by providing the district with vision and strategic leadership. We'd like to thank second grade Benford teacher, Megan Miller, who drew this picture of our amazing board members, complete with, please notice, Rick Mann's hook'em, Ronnie Anderson's bow tie, and Kathy Arlano's fabulous boots. So there we go. And now we have Marie Civils representing the Honorable Jack Cable, County Commissioner of Harris County Precinct 4, who will present a proclamation to the board.
Good evening. My name is Marie Civils, and I'm with Harris County Precinct 4, Commissioner Cagle's office. And on behalf of Commissioner Cagle, I'd like to recognize and thank the school board. You guys make the tough decisions so that we can have results like what we've just seen tonight. So thank you very much for taking that stand. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you very much for having the heart of a volunteer in our community. We have these beautiful proclamations to present to each board member. So I'm going to go ahead and just present them, and then I'll call you up to come and receive your individual ones. Harris County Precinct 4, the Honorable R. Jack Cagle hereby recognizes the entire Board of Trustees for Klein Independent School District. As Precinct 4 Commissioner of Harris County, Texas, and on behalf of the citizens of Harris County, we offer our sincere gratitude for the compassion, guidance, and understanding leadership that you've provided within Klein Independent School District. Your hard work and dedication have made a significant impact on the lives of the children, the families, and the fellow educators in our community. Therefore, I hereby proclaim the month of January 2019 as School Board Recognition Month. R. Jack Cagle, Commissioner of Harris County Precinct 4. All right, forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. As someone who has a difficult name, Civils, not spelled the traditional way, I understand what it's like to receive your name incorrectly pronounced. Georgian Rettmeyer? Close. Close? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Julie Baines? Thank you so much. We sure appreciate you. Kathy M. Arlano? Okay. Chris Todd. There I know it. Thank you so very much. We sure appreciate y'all. Dr. Brett Champion. There you go. Thank you so much. Doug James. And Ronnie K. Anderson. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, and y'all have an amazing rest of the school year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to get a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get a picture of
all
the board.
We want our thing.
Yeah, no, I want you to bring your rocks. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I can't lift it.
I know.
They're really cute.
Aren't they awesome?
They're beautiful. I'm good.
Why don't y'all bring your proclamation?
That's what I said.
Oh, there you go.
Said no.
It's a visual. I got lost when y'all said that here. Yes. All right, I think let's all open them up. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. More time for this one. 1, 2. Thank you. Let's give a big hand to our Board of Trustees. It is indeed an honor to get to work with a board who keeps students at the center of the work. Y'all really do that remarkably well. It's really an honor to get to serve with you. Thank you for that. And so let's celebrate some students now, and as well as their wonderful teachers. Maribel Scarborough's here, from the principal of Epps Island Elementary School, to introduce the campus's outstanding students and teacher. Come on up.
Good evening. Good evening, President Rittmeyer, members of the board, Dr. Champion, Mrs. Spalding, and guests. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing 2 outstanding Epps Island students and 1 distinguished teacher. First, I'd like to introduce Mario Santillan. Accompanying Mario are his parents, Mario and Ruby Santillan, as well as his sister, Alessandra. Please stand to be recognized. Mario is a 5th grade student at Epps Island Elementary who lives our guiding document of Profile of a Learner. He participated in the Klein in Space program and is also a gifted and talented student. One of his teachers, Miss Mitchell, who is a very hard person to impress, described Mario as a true example of a true scholar. She added, "Mario is always successful in what he does, and he takes great pride in his work. He is a type of student that sets high expectations for himself and always seeks to meet them with ease." Mario is a forever learner who enjoys challenging math problems, but his passion is reading. His favorite book is the first Harry Potter book, and he owns the entire series. He is a hard worker who also enjoys sports like soccer and aspires to learn to play the guitar one day. For fun, he loves to watch horror movies while eating his favorite snack, which is a chip sandwich. And if you don't know what that is a sandwich with chips inside. He is self-disciplined and an equipped scholar who plans to follow his mother's footsteps and attend the University of Houston. Mario is also a value-driven leader who has strong relationships. He is a great friend to his peers. He prefers to learn alongside of them in a collaborative environment and is always willing to help everyone. He keeps a smile on his face and in return makes others smile. He's known for being polite and gets along with everyone. This student believes that the most important thing is going to school and learn. We're very proud to call Mario an Epps Island Tiger. He is the whole package of good looks, brains, and a kind heart. His sister's shaking her head. Mario is simply the epitome of integrity. Very nice. Very nice. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Paula Morales. Accompanying Paula today are her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Morales, her grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Morales Salgado, as well as her sister Giovanna and her youngest son Emiliano. Please stand to be recognized. Paula is also a 5th grade student. She is one of 5 children, and a relentless pursuit of excellence runs in this family, as her sister was also recognized as a Board of Directors Outstanding Student only a few years ago. This Pathway Explorer is known for being a hardworking, dependable young lady who is always willing to help students with a positive attitude and a smile. Teachers agree that she goes the extra mile to make sure that she's being successful. She has a growth mindset and doesn't let a weakness defeat her. Instead, she works hard to improve in those areas. She is a values-driven leader who leads the way on campus as a safety patrol. She's been a member of the choir for 2 years. She is innovative and expresses her creativity through her drawings. Her favorite subject is math. Both her love for art and math make her an equipped scholar who hopes to attend Sam Houston University or the University of Houston to pursue a career as an architect, which she will accomplish because she demonstrates an insatiable desire to improve and grow as a forever learner. She does let her hair down every once in a while. She admits to having a unique personality and being a little chatty. Paula is an excellent student on the road to success, and we're very proud to have her as a student at Epps Island. Finally, I'd like to introduce to you Joyce Granger. With Joyce tonight are her husband, Greg, her brother, Jerry, visiting from Philadelphia, one of her sons, Ben, and his wife, Megan. Please stand to be recognized. Ms. Granger is a graduate of Texas A&M University and has been teaching for 32 years. 9 of those years has been in Klein, and the last 4 has been in Epps Island, serving as a reading specialist and currently as a 5th grade reading teacher. Ms. Granger is an advocate for her students and feels that all students deserve a chance. She is very dedicated to our campus and is a student-focused leader. She often receives emails from former students and has many students who come back to visit her because she does more than teach students. She builds relationships. She genuinely cares for her students and takes time to get to know them by talking about their family and personal interests. When she finds out something unique about a student, she's known for having them share with the class to establish a culture of respect and celebrations. There is a blurred line between family and work for Ms. Granger, as her heart is in both places. In fact, one of her favorite time of the year is Christmas, because she has her sons come to her classroom to play board games with her students. Ms. Granger is a promise to purpose investor and a leader of others. She enjoys building new teachers and cultivate talent by sharing her knowledge and passion. She also leads a book club between our 5th grade students and the students from Klein Forest National Honor Society. To prepare for this partnership, she visits with students at Klein Forest to train them how to lead these literary conversations. Ms. Granger is also a leader focused on results and displays a sense of urgency with her students by encouraging them to be reflective about their learning. She encourages students to set learning paths, chart their growth and their goals. She goes beyond her duties to help students become lifelong learners. Her love for her students and her unwavering commitment does not go unnoticed by her peers, who voted her Teacher of the Year in 2018. She always displays a sense of optimism and hope with a smile. Thank you, Ms. Granger, for your servant heart and making a difference in our students' lives.
Step this way, if you will, after you. This is the part that I really love. I love being able to talk to and point out those things that they read, all these wonderful things about. Okay, this is a good looking group. Mario, good looking, huh? That's it. But the biggest thing that I heard them describe you with is you're an avid reader. And readers are leaders.
Yeah.
And you're well on your way to becoming an amazing leader. athletes, soccer, do well in school. It's just amazing. I know that she had something to do with that, but certainly we're excited about you being here. We're excited to present this to you. I know we're going to see you back a little later on as well. Again, we congratulate you. Look at that smile. She's certainly somebody's reason to smile, no question about it. I was struck by the fact that art, music, drawing, I mean, all those things that I love personally, and you're going to put those into this big pot, stir it up, and come out an architect, right? We're looking forward to it because Robert, are you? Oh, yeah. You're looking for some good architects? Of course. Here it is. Here it is. This is the future of architecture right here. Again, we congratulate you. You're a great student, and we look forward to seeing you back once again. Ms. Granger, there's no way that these folks could do as well as they do without a great teacher like you. I mean, the interaction with the kids, the way that you embrace them, and it sounded as if you always go above and beyond in order to make some things happen. Well, great. Well, you know, and you had relatives from Philadelphia as well. They could have used you on the field. They could have used you on the field. But again, we celebrate you and we really appreciate you. You are what Klein is all about.
That's right.
Hey. Thank you.
All right. Goodness, excuse me, thank you. Allergic to this meeting. Are you allergic to? I'm allergic to this rock.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Trevor Woolley, who is here from Ulrich Intermediate.
Good evening. President Rittmeyer, members of the board, Dr. Champion, Ms. Spalding, and guests. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing two outstanding Ulrich students and one distinguished teacher. First, we have Alexander Lagos. Accompanying Alexander are his father, Joseph, his mother, Laura, and his brother, Liam. Would you please stand? Alexander is a member of Drama Dogs and Chess Club at school. He's an innovative and creative student who has won multiple awards for his performances at contests with Mr. Thornton, our theater teacher. Just last month, Alex took 5th place overall in the first ever Ulrich Regional Chess Tournament, which helped his team take 2nd overall in the competition. He has also distinguished himself in some incredible ways in academics as well. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege of accompanying him to the Texas Renaissance Festival, where he was awarded the Texas Renaissance Festival School Days Essay Competition for his essay titled A Brief History of Jousting. He is also participating in the upcoming Ulrich Spelling Bee. His teacher, Mr. John Wilson, had this to say about this particularly emotionally intelligent young man. I look forward to seeing him every day in class. He always contributes something exciting. He is a true Renaissance man, or kid, Mr. Wilson jokes. His knowledge seems to know no boundaries. He can converse on practically any topic you like on a mature and intellectual level. Several times a week, we walk and talk on the way to dismissal. Every day, we cover something different. Politics, history, science, it really doesn't matter. The world will truly be Alex Oyster. He can achieve anything he sets his mind to. Alex, you are a true forever learner. You embody our ideals of exhibiting curiosity, humility, and perseverance. We appreciate you being a part of the Bulldog Band. Next, we have Nora Burris. Accompanying Nora Burris this evening are her mother, Miss Burris, Deidre Burris. We have her father, Chris Burris, and her brother, Owen Burris. Please stand. Nora is on the Lady Bulldogs basketball team, the cross-country team, and our Bulldog Wind Ensemble. In this way, she has been a pathway explorer at our school, exhibiting self-discipline and self-reflectiveness. In what little free time that remains, she enjoys playing her instrument, taking time to exercise, and spending time with her family. Her algebra teacher, Miss Olson, says that Nora is the type of student that everyone looks up to. She's a smart, kind, considerate, hard-working kid. She is always willing to lend a helping hand to others and make education her top priority. Having Nora in class is an absolute honor, and I am privileged to see her grow into an outstanding young lady. Nora, you have proven yourself time and time again to be a values-driven leader who has not only built positive and productive relationships on our campus, but you are someone who is known for your honesty, your joyfulness, your kindness, and your gratefulness. We appreciate you being a part of our Bulldog family as well. Finally, I'd like to introduce Rachel Miracle. With Miss Miracle tonight are her husband, Dustin Miracle, and her son, Gavin Miracle, and her father, Chuck Meyer. Would you please stand? Rachel has been teaching for 2 years at Ulrich and in Klein after attending Sam Houston State University. She teaches 6th grade math and is an integral part of both her department and her PLC. Before teaching, Rachel served our country in the United States Army for 6 years and served 2 tours. The first was a peacekeeping mission in Hungary, and the second, a combat tour in Iraq. Rachel stands out as an outstanding teacher at Ulrich Intermediate because she truly embodies the whatever-it-takes attitude. She is a member of both our ELL Impact Team, servicing the needs of our English language learners, and our Leadership Bullpen, where she works to better herself and prepare for an administrative role one day. She was also recently recognized by the Technology Impact Team on our campus with the Compass Award Pin that recognizes her for demonstrating a deep understanding of high-quality teaching. Rachel likes to say, problems are just opportunities in disguise, and that certainly embodies her attitude and approach every single day with us at Ulrich. Rachel, you are a forever learner who is constantly deliberate about applying your learning to transform the world. We're happy to have you as a member of our Bulldog family, and we're very proud of the work that you do each and every day with our students. Thank you.
What an amazing group. I feel so honored to be able to talk to you today. Alex, I think about all the things that you did, and not only are we talking about the student educationally, but well-rounded. And that's so important in the leadership role. You mentioned that you were part of the chess team. And when I was in junior high, I tried to be part of the chess team. But they always seemed to forget to give me the note of when practice was. And I wondered about that, but you've obviously accomplished it. And I'm amazed at how much you do in such a little amount of time. Very, very proud of your accomplishments, and you're only, what, 8th grade? Amazing. You're not only an athlete, but you're fine arts. Again, the well-roundedness and educational fundamentals together, it's a no-brainer for success. And very excited to hear that you still take a little bit of time for exercise and breathing, because that's so important. So I wanted to mention to you that jazzercise is because with all that you do, you have to have time to breathe. Such great
Public service.
I'm listening to them. I read your little bio and I went, we are so blessed to have teachers that are so involved in kids, that love kids, and put kids first. And I salute you for your service in our country, and I salute you for being part of our world here in Klein, and congratulations. We need you.
That's right. Here we go. Ready, 1, 2. And one more here. All right. Yeah. Congratulations. A big hand for our Ulrich friend.
Congratulations, students. Next is the recognition of the Alumni Award, and tonight's nominee was recommended by Chris Todd, and Dr. Jenny McGowan will do the presentation.
Thank you. One of the amazing things that makes Klein ISD such a wonderful place to live and to learn is not only our current students, as we just saw, but also the fact that we have so many outstanding alumni that choose to attend Klein schools and then come back and live in our community. And I'm so excited tonight to honor our Klein ISD Alumni of the Month, Mrs. Maria Morris Hartman, who is someone I know and love dearly. So Maria, come on up here as I share a couple of words about you. So Maria first became part of the Klein community in 1983 when her family moved to our area from New Jersey for her father's job. Because of Klein ISD's stellar reputation, the family settled into the Cypress Woods subdivision so that she and her brothers could attend Klein schools. Maria attended Strock Intermediate and Klein Oak High School. While at Klein Oak, she took a child development class and taught preschoolers, which helped her prepare for an educational future. After graduating in 1990, Maria attended the University of Houston and earned her degree in early childhood education. Maria began her professional career in Spring ISD as a classroom teacher, reading specialist, and literacy coach. She served 8 years in education before making the decision to stay at home with her children. Maria's passion for education continues to this day, which is obvious when you look at the long list of educational volunteer roles she has fulfilled. In Klein ISD alone, she serves on the Benningness and Criminal PTO boards. She's also active in the Klein Oak High School Choir Booster Club as their volunteer coordinator. And as if that isn't enough, she serves on the Klein ISD Education Foundation Board of Directors and the Grant Review Committee. Maria also served on the strategic planning team, where she had a hand in creating Klein ISD's guiding documents and strategic framework. And Maria volunteers with Bridging for Tomorrow, serving as a mentor at McDougall Elementary, and is active on the literacy squad, reading with students at Clink Elementary while working on expanding the program to Greenwood Forest Elementary. So essentially, we get to have Maria for free in Klein ISD. Yes. Maria says one of her favorite memories is working with the mud districts in the Benningness community to help raise money to purchase additional playground equipment, specifically swings and handicap accessible equipment, so that every student can enjoy their time on the playground. Maria and her husband Mark have been married for 18 years and they have 4 children. Christina, a sophomore at Klein Oak High School, Rachel, an 8th grader, and Anna, a 6th grader at Criminal Intermediate, and Nicholas, who's in 5th grade in Benningness Elementary. The entire Hartman family is active on the Connections team and the student ministry at Faith Bridge Church. And knowing the entire Hartman family personally, I can say firsthand that they are all marked by integrity and they are a blessing to our Klein community. Many thanks to board member Chris Todd for helping us spotlight Maria's outstanding contributions to our Klein family. Please join me in honoring and celebrating Maria Hartman, our Klein ISD January Alumni of the Month.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. McGowan, Dr. Champion, and my longtime friend, Chris Todd, board members, Ms. Spalding, my family, and my friends that are here. Thank you very much for the award. To be recognized as an outstanding alumni for my involvement in the Klein community is truly an honor to which I am extremely grateful. I stand here this evening largely because of the example that my parents modeled for me. Growing up with Nick and Jean Morris as your parents, my brothers and I saw volunteering as a natural expectation when you're part of a community, whether that was church, school, sports, scouts, or our neighborhood. From coaching to PTA president, field trip planner, teaching classes at church, or organizing fundraising events, I watched as my parents made a difference in so many different areas. I will never forget when our family moved to the Klein area in the early 1980s from New Jersey, my brother made the Klein Oak baseball team. My parents wanted to get involved in the booster club, only to find out there was no baseball booster club at Klein Oak High School. They quickly realized that in Texas, football was the sport at Klein Oak High School. So instead of standing around complaining, Nick and Jean Morris took action. That's what they've taught my brothers and I. They started the Klein Oak Baseball Booster Club and became the first president. As I look at the baseball program now at Klein Oak and have neighbors who serve on that board, it is with great pride that I have to know that they were a small part of that. That's what giving back to your community is all about, doing your part. Through all my years of volunteering in Klein ISD, I would have to say building relationships with people as we work together to impact our district has been the most rewarding. When we approach volunteering, asking ourselves how we can develop relationships with others that will in turn make a difference in our community, it takes the focus off of ourselves and onto those around us. Getting to work side by side with other parents and community members, employees, and students is how we together make Klein ISD a wonderful school district. I truly believe giving back and serving the community has to be about selflessly serving all students, not just my own kids, but the kids that even attend other schools. Not every school has a PTO or the parent support that the schools that my kids attend have. However, just because the needs are different doesn't mean that we don't all have an obligation to do our part, to use the resources we have or influence circles to help other campuses. This we, not me approach has been demonstrated time and time again all across our district and is so encouraging to be a small part of it. When each of us looks at everything we do through the lens of every student, not just my own student, we can accomplish great things in this district. Being able to give back to the school district I grew up in has been such a blessing. I am grateful for the education I received while attending Klein schools and the opportunity to give back in this season of my life. I've met so many people over the years while growing up in the Klein community and serving. Those relationships and the impact each and every one of them has had on me is something I will always treasure, and some of them in the audience tonight. In closing, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude to my family, beginning with my husband, Mark, who wholeheartedly supports that long list that Jenny read. And he's always willing to encourage me and cheer me on when I say, sure, I'd be happy to serve on that committee. Or yes, I will be in charge of that. He's my biggest cheerleader and supporter, and I am so grateful to be on this journey together with him. And to our children, say thank you, number one, for getting dressed up on a school night tonight, and for always being an encouragement to your mom. And to my parents, thank you for modeling what serving others should look like. I'm so glad you are both here tonight to share this moment with me. And to my dear friends and other family members and my brothers that are here tonight to celebrate along with me, I'm so thankful for each of you. And finally, to my longtime friend, Chris Todd, thank you for nominating me tonight. I'm truly honored.
Yeah. Y'all, once y'all do the two of you, then we'll get the family.
Whatever feels comfortable.
Quick, the family, quick.
I know.
We should have taken a picture from the back.
I know it.
Oh my God, a video.
It should have been quick. That's cute.
All right, y'all scoop this place up. Here we go. Perfect.
Wow, they are dressed up.
All right, here, just take one step to your left.
There we go again.
There you go. And one more time. Here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Thank you.
All that beautiful hair. Gorgeous. Oh, congratulations, Maria.
Next up is the presentation of the Texas Association of School Boards Stand Up for Public Schools Award. Dr. McGowan.
Thank you. The Texas Association of School Boards sponsors the program Stand Up for Texas Public Schools that recognizes businesses and organizations that support public schools in the community. We are proud in Klein ISD to recognize honorees at each board meeting and publicly thank them for their efforts to build community by supporting our staff and students. Tonight we have the joy of celebrating Satterfield and Ponticus Construction and sharing a few of the ways they have partnered with us to support our shared promise to purpose vision. The Satterfield and Ponticus Construction team are annual supporters of the Klein ISD Education Foundation Academic Banquet, donors to the Classroom Educator Grant Program, and volunteers on the Celebration Express to award grants and celebrate educators, as well as donors and volunteers for the Foundation's golf tournament. They also participate in career day events across the district to share their knowledge of the design and construction industry with our Klein students. Employees of Satterfield and Ponticus are also Harvey heroes. They stepped up in a big way to donate funds to support district shelters, delivered cases of waters to flood victims, manned boats for rescues and to make deliveries to those who were trapped in their homes, helped move the contents of flooded Lem Elementary to Klein Cain High School, and mobilized quickly to make repairs to Hildebrandt Intermediate. After the floods, the team sponsored and worked with students participating in the student-led Water Warriors Day of Design Innovation Challenge to develop ways to prevent future flooding. Satterfield and Ponticus Construction does so much more than build schools. They continue to build relationships and community that truly make a difference for the students and staff of Klein ISD. And we have some of the representatives from Satterfield and Ponticus here this evening, so if you all will come on up so we can present your certificate this evening. Let's give them a big round of applause.
And Jenny, one thing to add to their resume is that these wonderful people bought the luncheon at my house, lunch with the superintendent, but benefited the Klein Education Foundation and teachers grants. So again, thank you for that as well.
Perfect back here. Everybody's appropriate. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
That was. We needed
One more time. Ready? 1, 2. Got it. Thank you.
Celebration tonight, we get to honor our fabulous Klein Police Department. Chief David Kimberly is here to present the recognition.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Champion, Ms. Spalding, and guests. It's my honor to be here this evening to recognize 2 Klein ISD officers. Ileana Perez, would you come forward? And Officer Bruce McKenzie. Bruce, would you come up here? I want to present both of them with an Exceptional Duty Award. Let me kind of frame this. Back in November, I received an email from a citizen in the community, and I was completely struck by it. I'll read it to you if you'll bear with me. It says, "Good afternoon. I wanted to reach out to you about an amazing actions I witnessed today from 2 of your officers. I happened to be having lunch today at Mod Pizza at the Grand Parkway when 2 of your officers came in to pick up lunch. I know one was a female officer named Perez. As they were waiting for their food, a 2 to 3-year-old boy had wandered away from his parents and proceeded out of the building and into oncoming traffic. Your officers saw this and immediately sprang into action. It was amazing. They were outside to that child lightning quick and stopped a disaster from occurring. As a parent with 2 young children around this age, it's incredibly reassuring to know that Klein ISD Police Department will act so quickly to help take care of our community, as I have lived in communities where this has not always been the case." He concluded with thank you to you and your officers. What I found out later is Officers Perez and McKenzie had stopped for lunch. Now, mind you, I had to chase down their supervisors and everybody in town because to them it was just another day at work. But digging through all of it, what I found out is that Officer McKenzie and Officer Perez had been stopped at the restaurant And the toddler, as most toddlers do, became very enamored with Officer McKenzie, and he was back and forth bantering. You know, so much so, I mean, we actually carry stickers because it's just every day. So, again, we love taking the opportunity to spend time with the kids. But when the family walked away, the toddler slipped out the door and ended up in the middle of the driveway. Officer McKenzie, seeing this and what occurred and saw the child, without hesitation, ran out in the driveway. Now, it's my understanding that there was an SUV coming down the driveway that probably had not seen the toddler, but Bruce's size, when he grabbed the toddler, he picked the toddler up and got him out of harm's way. So, for their actions that day and for every day, for the students, staff, and community of Klein ISD, we say thank you and present them with the Exceptional Duty Award. Now, let's see if I got this right. And what the award says, it reads, for commendable conduct and excellence in police performance, whose diligent actions in the line of duty displayed admirable and remarkable service, and whose initiative and devotion to duty have added immensely and to the furtherance of our department's professionalism. For that, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Helen's back there. I'll tell you. I see you. Congratulations.
And now we want to recognize any Boy Scouts that are in the audience. Would you stand, please? Great. We'd like for you to introduce yourself, and if you will look up on the screen, you will see that we want you to say your name, your troop, your school, and why you're here tonight. So one of those badges. So do we have a? There we go. There's a mic.
I'm Chris Price. I'm from Troop 440. I go to Dory Intermediate, and I'm here for a requirement for communications.
Good. Thank you.
My name is Sami Baig. I'm from Troop 321. I'm here from the John Cooper School, and I'm here for the Merit Badge, Communications and Citizenship of the Community.
My name is Safi Baig. I'm from Troop 321, the John Cooper School. I'm here for the requirements on citizenship and communications.
My name is Landon Clark. I'm from Troop 878. I go to Criminal Intermediate, and I'm working on the citizenship badge and the communications badge.
My name is Brendan Doyle. I'm from Troop 878. I'm from Criminal Intermediate, and I'm doing citizenship in the community and communications.
Thank you. Thank you, Boy Scouts. I think y'all are on your way to becoming Eagles, so go for it.
See us. See us.
Oh, if the Scouts will see these two people, raise your hand.
Mm-hmm.
These two people right here, they'll give you your certificates. We're going to take an intermission now, but before we do so, we'd like to greet everyone who was recognized here tonight, including the Scouts. If you will start right here to my left, we'd like to greet each one of you. Thank you all for coming. We will now continue our meeting with Citizens Inquiry. Do we have any inquiries tonight?
You have to answer.
No, ma'am. No.
Okay.
No
Okay.
inquiries tonight.
None. Our first report is the Audit Committee report. The report is listed in the executive summary in your board packets. Our new Audit Committee chairperson, Mr. Ronnie Anderson, thank you, will present the report that is listed as the executive summary in your board packets.
Thank you, Georgianne. The draft comprehensive annual financial report for the year ended August 31st, 2018 was reviewed by the committee with Weaver and Tidwell, LLP, using governmental auditing standards. The district received an unmodified or clear opinion on the financial statements, that there are sufficient reserves in the general fund and the debt service fund, and the district is receiving excellent credit ratings. The draft copy of the comprehensive annual financial report will be presented tonight to the Board of Trustees for acceptance and approval. The Audit Committee also reviewed the federal single audit report for the year also ending August 31st, 2018, and it was the auditor's opinion that the district has complied in all material respects with requirements that could have direct and material effect on each of the major financial programs or federal programs for the year ending December 31st, 2018. The committee received an update on internal audit procedures and the current audit schedule from Ms. Stephanie Duran and the district's Director of Internal Audit. Ms. Duran reported no significant concerns and that the audits are going well. Special thanks to the firm Weaver and Tidwell and the district staff and members for their efforts in preparing the financial statements, and to our internal accounting department for their efforts and analysis of the internal audit procedures. And if there are any questions, we are prepared to answer them.
Any questions?
Nope.
There being none, we'll just move on to the next item. Thank you, staff, for that wonderful report. The Board of Trustees will now move to the action item for approval and acceptance of the annual audit of all funds for the period of September 1, 2017 to August 31st, 2018, as presented by the firm of Weaver and Tidwell, LLP, in accordance with Section 44.008 of the Texas Education Code. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? It passes 5-0. What'd I do?
Nothing, you're good.
Oh,
I'm trying to adjust your thing.
okay. There's an adjustment going on.
That's right. On the
Okay. Dr. Brett Champion will now provide an update on the community conversations that have been taking place across the district. Yahoo.
Thank you, Ms. Reitmeyer. It is my pleasure to do this. I will be providing this report, but there are a lot of people who are behind it. It takes a lot of folks to have a community conversation with Brett Champion, apparently. And I do want to thank our communications team, who has been incredible. They also were part of your gift tonight. They had the idea around planning for success, as well as Jenny McGowan, who has been instrumental in working with this as well. And then other folks, just principals and individuals in the community who have opened up their homes and HOAs and signed up to allow us to come in and share the story of Klein ISD. It's been a true joy to get to do this work. And so tonight, I'm just going to share some information. None of it's going to be too surprising to you, actually, because y'all have been right alongside in all of this work as well. But we start, as we always do in Klein ISD, with our shared vision, which is at the center of everything we do, that every student enters with a promise and exits with a purpose. It's incredible to remember that was adopted by the board in January of 2017. That was 2 years ago. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. In some ways, it seems like 22 years ago. However, one of the things that has been remarkable in these conversations is how well people still that resonates so well with people as we move forward, and has really been an important piece of the work we continue to do. And of course, in May of that same year, this strategic framework, which is, again, Klein ISD on a page, was adopted by this Board of Trustees. And so May of 2017, this strategic framework, including The 3 strategic priorities of reimagine learning, cultivating talent, and building community was adopted. And we wondered about gathering feedback a year in. And to that end, we conducted a family satisfaction survey in August of 2018. This survey was tied to parents verifying their student enrollment at the beginning of the year, which proved to be a great strategy that whoever thought of it, it was brilliant, because we had 11,000 families respond to this survey. And those are families, that's not individual kids. So some families have multiple kids in it. The Hartmans have 4. So, so you've got multiple kids that are represented here. And then it's also exciting to look at that there was important feedback and significant feedback from each of our feeder pattern schools. And so regardless of feeder pattern, we had double-digit response rates for the survey. So that is terrific. As we take a look at the results, let's remember, 2 years ago, this board adopted the shared vision. Now, nearly 9 out of 10 families said that they knew and understood the shared vision in Klein ISD, bless you, knew and understood the shared vision in Klein ISD. 9 out of 10, only 18 months after the board adopted it. Equally important is 75% of families indicated that they agreed or strongly agreed that Klein ISD is accomplishing that shared vision through its strategic priorities. And so that's terrific as well. As you think about our strategic priorities and what we have done with reimagining learning and the additional pathways that have been brought on board in the last couple of years, our curriculum refresh, that work continues today. Around cultivate talent, of course, our leadership development is honestly unparalleled in the state. I guarantee it. Building community, y'all know that we are a top district for family engagement. That Texas Education Agency just bestowed that upon us, much to our surprise. It wasn't something we applied for. And then innovation. Klein ISD has created a name for itself around innovation challenges and being an innovative district. As a matter of fact, a nationally respected organization recently was in Klein, and at a national event said that she considers Klein ISD one of the most innovative school districts in the nation at this point. And so you think about where this district has been, the incredible history that it's always had, and how that continues to grow and develop as we move through this particular shared vision and its strategic priorities. And then you wonder about the education specifically. 84% of Klein ISD families said that they were satisfied or highly satisfied with the education their kids were receiving in the district, which is a terrific number because ultimately that's what we're about. And then you think about, as y'all mentioned, Kathy and Doug, in your talk about the kids that we recognize today, it's really about the whole student, right? And so this idea of an experience and what percentage of our families feel like the experience is solid is, again, 8 and 10, actually over 8 and 10 feel they were satisfied or highly satisfied with their family's experience in Klein ISD. So those are incredibly high, strong, wonderful results. We're thrilled, obviously, that this continues. We always want everything to be at 100%, of course, and so we continue to work and grow. But one of the interesting questions that was asked of our families on this survey is, what are your priorities? And so the top 3 priorities, and if you look at kind of how all the rest fell, the only 3 that were in the double digits were safety at 32%, academics at 26%, and pathways at 20%, and everything else, you can see what the other topics were lower than 7%. So very clearly, our families have their top priorities, not surprisingly, safety and security, academics, and pathways. And so that was the top priorities for our information from the survey, and we wanted to gather some additional qualitative work as well, which is why we embarked in these community conversations and listening tours, so that we could hear from the community what was on the community's mind. And so to that end, the map of where we've been, there were 89 different stops, which included, of course, all of our schools and departments, but also like any non-school site that would have us. So we went to HOA buildings, we went into people's homes. I mean, we were invited, to be very clear. We went into restaurants. Thank you, Spring Creek Barbecue, because we had multiple events at Spring Creek Barbecue. A lot of y'all were at those events, so you know that. I mean, literally any place that would have us. We went to, the very first one, as a matter of fact, was a club that was, it was a Kiwanis club. It was a Kiwanis club that at an IHOP. Yep, there you go. So you had the service organization plus a restaurant all put together. So 89 different stops, and gave us the opportunity to share the Klein story, but also to hear what concerns were in the community as well. And so again, just some pictures from whatever the size of the group, it didn't matter. We were there listening to what folks had to say. And from all of that conversation, some very clear themes emerged, and we call them our key learnings from this time. And the first one is, part of our message was that Klein has been and continues to be top tier, and we all know this to be true, that we continue to be top tier because we have top talent in Klein ISD. Another theme or a key learning was around clarifying messaging. Ensuring that anything we put out is clear and understandable. We'll talk some more about that here in a second. The community, it was interesting as we talked about finances, they completely understand that the state needs to step up some. And so they really challenged us, and we challenged them right back to we all need to work together to work with our state legislature and our specific legislators here on funding public schools. And then lastly, that we need to study the need for a future election. And so let's take a look at these 4 things real quickly and spend a little time on each of them. The first one, again, is top tier because of top talent. Klein, and y'all know this, it's one of the reasons I was so amazed that I had got the benefit of coming into this district, because it's legendary. I mean, it honestly has an incredible reputation for doing wonderful things for students. It has long been a strong and efficient system. And you think about whether it was leading the way with one-to-one technology long before that was kind of the project du jour for school districts. The management of the finances. Y'all know this, we are one of only fewer than 30 school districts receiving 5-star fiscal ratings, to producing, I always say, the best marker of a high-quality school system, or of any school system, is who are the people who are graduating from it and what happens to them. And so if you think about the alumni whom we have celebrated, Maria Hartman today, Dr. Ann Barnes recently, Lindsay Murbach, Dr. Douglas LaCour Jr., Lori Cook, Dehanya Hunt. I mean, these are remarkable people who are products of our system. And we know that it's not past tense, it continues to be top tier. Around safety, we have the premier school district police department in the state of Texas, because we know that because of who comes to get trained by our police department, and they are to be commended for the work that they do every day in a variety of places. Also, how our community very strongly supported our bonds in 2015 around the security pieces and how that's moved forward. In academics, y'all know this, our increased number of students who are enrolling in and successfully completing our most rigorous courses, and in pathways, and y'all know we offer opportunities like cosmetology and auto tech, and also engineering, unique opportunities like advanced nursing and geospatial engineering, one of my favorite ones to talk about. Geospatial engineering, it's just fun to say. It's just fun to say. It's also remarkable for kids. And then in leadership, whether it's our partnership with the Holdsworth Center or the continued celebrations we get to have around student and teacher voice throughout this system. And it's clear that while programs and pathways help define us as top tier, ultimately it's the top talent who make this district be top tier, right? It's the people who are actually leading the efforts, who are bringing this to the table every day, that make this a unique top tier school district. And so to remain so, we have to retain that top talent for our students. And so you see an action step on there is frankly, to do that, which looks like in this upcoming budget, we need to work to bring our salaries and benefits to market, while at the same time keeping this incredible organizational culture that Klein ISD has. It's the traits of positivity and hopefulness just continues. I mean, I think about the kids and the teachers who were celebrated tonight and just how beautiful that was. That's the culture we need to continue in Klein ISD. So that's our first area, first big theme is top tier because of top talent. The second big theme is around clarity of message clarity. One of the best ways, most important ways to keep a culture strong is to ensure that people are clear on messaging, that there's as little ambiguity as possible. One of our jobs as leaders is to help drive ambiguity out of the system. And so in order to do that, we have to continue to communicate regularly and well. And there are some specific things we need to educate people on. I mean, when people hear of the incredible things that are going on in Klein ISD today, many don't realize that there were significant changes to our program we offered because the TRE failed. And so making sure that people see and have in their hands exactly what changes there were, what those look like, whether it was a change in staffing to grass being longer, to bus stops changing, to a change in programs with our teaching and learning folks. I mean, that we need to be able to publish that list, which will be forthcoming, so that folks are very clear about the kind of things that did change. The other action step that is up there is to continue these community conversations, honestly, just to continue listening, continue sharing the good work that's going on in Klein ISD. Again, that idea of driving ambiguity out of the system and working, the way to do that, the way to dispel it is face-to-face conversations, which take time, but that needs to continue. And then finally, work to strengthen the communication via a particular group and a particular organization. And those two are the Klein Leadership Coalition, which is actually kicking off this month. And y'all know this, that the objective is to create a large coalition of internal and external influencers who are equipped to share information about the district with other shareholders, and it includes parents and community members and taxpayers and businesses. And so they'll share good news as well, have awareness on how Klein operates and what kind of legislation affects the district. What's incredible, y'all, is we put this call out. We have about 250 people who have agreed to serve on this committee. And so this looks to be a very powerful opportunity for us to really expand the communication here in Klein ISD. The second group I want to pause just for a second and celebrate are the Friends of Klein ISD. The Friends of Klein ISD currently is simply a group of committed community members. They are headed up by Ann Vallette and Dr. Jim Kane and Dr. Stephen Trammell, and former board president Bill Pilkington, we vaguely remember him, is also, he's the treasurer for this group. And frankly, that these respected legacy leaders in our community have volunteered to share the good news of Klein ISD is awesome. So Dr. Kane and Dr. Trammell and Miss Vallette in absentia, we thank you. Could y'all stand, please? We have Jim Kane, there he is, thank you. Dr. Kane, Dr. Trammell, thank you for being here. I know that Ann Vallette will watch this later, and so Ann Vallette, thank you as well. We appreciate you and certainly Bill Pilkington as well. If folks are interested in learning more about this group, I encourage you to check out their Facebook page. It's simply just look for Friends of Klein, Friends of Klein, I believe. Isn't that it's officially Friends of Klein. That's right. Thank you. And again, personally, Stephen and Jim, thank you for your continued commitment to this school district. It is such an honor to get to walk alongside you guys, and Ann and Bill as well. With that, the third priority, or the third theme that emerged, was this idea of working closely with the legislature. We know that recognizing that our financial constraints are tied to decreased state funding, our community strongly stated that we need to continue to work closely with our state elected officials, frankly, just to get more money for public schools. To that end, we continue to strengthen our legislative work. We communicate regularly with legislators and staff, and the action step in this is to continue to strengthen those relationships. We have, as you know, in late November, we invited multiple school districts. We hosted an event with lots of legislators and representatives, and had great turnout for that. We've just arranged for those same folks to visit the Capitol later in the session, and we'll be hosting a luncheon not only for our reps, but also for the chair of the House Public Ed Committee, the Senate Public Ed Committee, Calendars Committee, those folks, just to kind of come and go and get to know you luncheon. So those will certainly continue. We're going to have regular informal visits. We actually have one later this month coming up. We have national advocacy. Georgianne Reitmeyer is working with TASB on advocating for increased funding, particularly around the area of special education and IDEA-B funds. And so we appreciate Ms. Reitmeyer's work with that. And then we continue to work with a variety of groups. Fast Grow Schools, Georgianne and I saw at Gasconzo today. The Equity Center, Dan is going to, that man over there, the CFO, is going to a meeting with the Equity Center in the next couple of weeks because there's some possible legislation that will have a severe impact on Klein ISD. TASA, TASB, Region 4, TASBO, Gulf Coast. The Chamber, y'all, the Northwest Chamber, as part of their legislative priorities, took our legislative priorities and incorporated them into their legislative priorities. This is community movement having an important impact, and so we're very excited and so appreciate Barbara and the staff over at the Northwest Chamber for that. One of the things that we'll be working on is a toolkit via the Klein Leadership Coalition for the public. And again, so that everyone is aware, we have 3 legislative priorities. They're very simple. Fix school finance, fix the state accountability system, and we just say no to vouchers in any way, shape, or form. And so those are them. That's the easy 3 legislative priorities. The last theme that we have is this idea of studying the need for a future election. And this is not stated lightly by any means. To be quite frank, we would love to not have an election. We would love for the legislature, they continue to talk about school finance, and so we'll see where they land with that. We continue to hear, matter of fact, where we were today, we heard some potential positive words, and we'll need to continue to monitor the legislature to see what they do. However, there's no guarantee that the legislature is going to take action that has specific impact in a positive way in Klein ISD. I mean, at this point, we just don't know. We're 3 days into the session right now, but we will work closely to keep an eye on that. If that doesn't work to our advantage for the upcoming budget, then we will need to think about holding another election, because ultimately, we need an infusion of money into the system to continue the work that we're doing in Klein ISD. And so whether that looks like legislatively, and if that doesn't work, then looking at it from a possible tax ratification election, that's something that we need to really consider. The reality is we will continue to look at market studies about what is it when you pay your top talent, and what is it we need to be paying our top talent for all positions, certainly the teaching positions, looking at benefits as well. And then if it ends up where there is a need to call an election, there are a couple of things around this clarity of message that we need to ensure that we have in place. One of them is this idea of a uniform election date. And I would say, based on the conversations we have, it is, if we have a future election, it would very likely, the recommendation would be to have one in November of 2019, which is obviously a uniform election date. That is certainly something that a number of our community came back and talked to us about, is concern about not being on a uniform election date. And the other piece is ensuring we have incredibly clear communications about what a yes vote means and what a no vote means. So one of the things that we heard is that there was some confusion. We've talked a lot about people thought it was a bond, and that we now remind people that bonds are for buildings and buses and other big things, and that TREs are for people and programs and pathways, and that they're two separate things. But regardless, whatever way you look at it, we need to ensure that the message is clear that a yes vote means this set of things will occur, and if it fails again, then this is going to occur, so that people are incredibly clear about what their vote is going to affect, right? Not just, and by that I don't just mean in the school district. Clearly that's a critical piece, but also they need to know what a yes vote means in terms of their personal property taxes, and what a failed election looks like. And so being incredibly transparent with that as we move forward is something that needs to happen. If, and again, I want to be real clear, Ava, that it's if an election is called. At this point, we're by no means saying that is a guarantee, but it's just something we must continue to study. To that end, in summary, Klein ISD has been and continues to be top tier because of the top talent who is here. Thus, we have to be able to continue to retrain and recruit top talent. We are so blessed to have the amazing people in Klein ISD. Continually, there are continual conversations about the Klein family and how important each member is to each of us in this school district. It is a remarkable place, and we want to. So we talk about top talent, but at the end of the day, it's really about keeping your family together, you know? And so I don't want to miss that message that really what we're about is how do we continue to operate as a Klein family at the end of the day. And that's what keeping that top tier looks like. And that in order to keep the family together, again, ensuring clear messaging for everyone, working with our lawmakers, and then continuing to study the need for a future election if such a thing needs to occur. And with that, are there any questions that I can answer from any board member?
Thank you, Dr. Champion.
You bet.
Appreciate the report and really the need to clarify and have a clear message for our community. And thank you for the members of the Klein family and those that are part of the Klein, Friends of Klein. Thank you, Dr. Trammell, Dr. Kane, for your presence here tonight. It's very important. And to that end, the next agenda item is the approval of the establishment of the Klein Leadership Coalition. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? It passes 5-0. We now move to the approval of proposed modifications to local board policy, EIC.
Did you say 5-0?
I did. Is it not?
6.
Oh, we're 6. Sorry. Thank you. We want every vote to count.
That's right. That's right. Klein ISD is all
Thank
about
you.
every.
Yeah, we're all about every. Oh, I love that one. Okay, now we will move for the approval of proposed modification to local board policy, EIC, academic achievement, class ranking. May I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It passes 6-0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of a request for a class size waiver exception from the Texas Education Association agency. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Ron?
Now, we will continue to see these month after month, I presume. Okay, this continues to go against the DNA of this district.
Right.
So just want to continue to keep that comment out there more as a direct result of what's going on at the state legislature
Right.
than anywhere else.
Right. Anyone else? All those in favor? It passes 6-0. The next agenda item is the budget review. Number 4, proposed budget amendments for the 2018-19 school year. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Second?
Is there discussion? All those in favor? It passes 6-0. Now we have the approval of the bid number 19-199 for property and boiler machine insurance, year 2. May I have a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Passes.
I will abstain.
Okay. And 5
Mr.
and 1
Anderson, just because
abstention?
policy requires it, is your abstention due to your profession?
Yes.
Thank you.
So it passes 5, 1 abstention, 0 to 0. Okay. Moving to the consent agenda, are there any items that you wish to remove from the consent agenda, starting with you, Kathy?
None.
Ms. Salerno?
None.
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 Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? It passes 6-0. All right. We're now ready to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 10th, 2018. May I have a motion?
I so move.
A second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Passes 6-0. Moving on to the calendar review, please note in the following events: the district observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 21st, the first meeting of the Klein Leadership Coalition on January 24th, and the 50th Annual Klein ISD FFA Livestock and Project Show, February 6th through the 9th. Board comments. We'll start with you, Ms. Orlano.
I just wanted to mention that before break, I know it was fast and furious, but I really was so excited at the Vistas graduation and to see the kids and how many kids and all the honors that graduated. It was amazing. And then I also wanted to say that I really enjoyed doing my Christmas, my little reindeer story for my 4th graders for the first time. And a class of 18 with 4 girls, and they were the most amazing group of kids. They were so much fun, and that was just the highlight of the holiday season.
That's awesome.
Thank
They
you.
were cute.
Happy New Year. It's just wonderful. The holidays went by extremely fast. Vistas, amazing, and it always is. I ran into some folks that my wife used to teach, and their last one graduated through Vistas, so it was just like kind of like a little homecoming.
Yeah.
The year has really started to fly by. We've spent some time reading to the classes already, and the award ceremonies and season has taken place where everyone gets their little awards. My granddaughter was getting her little award, so we're moving through this thing extremely fast. Last thing is that Sunday I got an opportunity to, as an elected official, and I always forget that this is an elected official job. I always forget that this is an elected official job. And I got an opportunity to be able to speak to the Houston Black Leadership Institute. And they select these 35 young professionals. And it was interesting to talk to them. Yeah, it was. I'd never heard of it either.
Young? Oh, I was saying young.
We were just saying young.
He was the
You
speaker.
need to stop.
Young at heart.
Not me. I wasn't young, but they were young.
Oh.
He was speaking.
They
to
were
you.
young. And
great.
these folks, go through this battery of what do you call it? I guess learning and cohort of interesting kind of from policies to you name it, whatever the leadership umbrella offers. And so from that, there were several folks in that group that lived in Klein. And long story short, they were extremely impressed about Klein ISD. There were also some folks that lived in surrounding districts and they were kept pointing to the fact that Klein was a cut above, top tier, kept pointing to the fact that they're extremely pleased about Klein, except for obviously the property taxes that keep going through the roof. So I spent most of the day talking about, I don't have anything to do with the property taxes, but it was a wonderful thing to see a different point of view of how folks view Klein. So it was certainly a privilege, and I was gifted to be there.
Yeah, did you take advantage of sharing with them that actually what's happening is
Absol-
their values are going up because people are so excited to be here?
Absolutely. Most people do. That group certainly did not understand how the flow of their property tax dollars make their way to Austin and don't make their way to the school.
And how exciting it is, because when we have a tax rate that's been the same for a number of
Abs-
years, and so your
absolutely.
values
Well,
going
I
up.
know how to tell that story.
That's right, I know
and
you
we
do.
had
That's good.
Getting
we
our
had some
message
good
here.
conversations.
Good work, Mr. James.
Yeah, good. Mr. Anderson,
Okay,
come this way.
okay. I was thinking we're going to continue with the.
Well, we can go the other way if you like it that way. We're out of the box.
I'm good. So what really came to mind tonight, we honor and recognize a lot of kids, and that's, like Doug said earlier, that's the highlight of the night. But in listening to Brett go through the Leadership Coalition information, what really comes to mind after living here my whole life, we're only as good as who we educate.
Yeah.
And you look around and what do these kids do after they walk off that stage? And every leaf on that tree, the shape of our district, that's a school. And so we only add as kids come back or as families stay, and they do for a reason. And look around the room. I mean, Pastor Trammell already left, but he didn't have to move from LSU area to move to Texas, but he did. He moved his family here. Chris's parents were here, and Chris is still here. Dana, she was here. She was, she stayed, graduated from here. Brian's employer is here locally. So there's a lot that has to do with who we graduate and what they do. And as long as we keep our eye on the ball, we're going to keep bearing fruit. And, I hope that just continues to fuel us all. And those kids that we saw today, they're going to be the next employers of other people in our school district, and teachers and leaders and pastors and who knows what else. So that's it.
Good family.
Yes. Well, just to highlight a few of the things that came to mind over the last month or so, we've had, kids, I think Kathy and I and a number of us participated in the Literacy Day at school, and that was really neat. There's a group of librarians who I think are taking some initiative to start teaching other people outside of their school district. They're having a library ed camp, I guess, to bring to teach what they have learned and to share the word. And so I think that was really neat, that showed that they're leaders continuing their education. I know there's schools where some of the teachers are inviting their peers to come in and do peer review. It's a neat thing to do. It's exciting. Our kids, I know I attended a Name That Book competition at one of these schools, which was really neat because the kids, they read books over a number of weeks, a lot of books, and then they have to name out, or the announcer names just one small quote, and all these kids know what's amazing that they can retain that much energy. The Pathways website that came out recently was really good, looks great. Brett, thank you, and for you and Jenny and your communications team for all of the work that you did in those community conversations. That took a lot of time, and that was a real initiative to go out and listen to the community. And as a parent, that means a lot. The thing that overwhelmingly all this says is that we're continuing to challenge ourselves to improve. Our kids do, our teachers do, the administration does, and we have some serious things ahead of us, a long year ahead, and it's nice to keep in mind that we're not going to rest on our laurels. We never have been. We're not a district that just because we're top tier, we have to continually push ourselves to improve, and it's neat to be part of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that that notion of continuous improvement for sure, because the minute we stagnate is when we begin to die. So I have lived here most of my life and certainly understand that that notion of continuous improvement is something we've always embraced, and hope we will continue to embrace that. As I'm new to the board, I have begun to kind of dig deeper, and I'm excited to learn that the passion that I thought I understood from our district is the same inside as I saw from the outside. So I'm deeply encouraged by that, and the folks that I've met and continue to get to know. Today, that came to mind as we had an audit committee report, and some 30 some odd sets of books, 27 plus, some big number of books, and the amount of tireless hours that are spent ensuring that we have the utmost integrity with our finances, and our audits come back great, and we have a continual reports of the highest level of financial integrity, I think is really, really important, and I'm super thankful for that, and all the folks that go into making sure that happens and continue, because I know firsthand that there are a lot of late nights, and there are a lot of things that happen trying to figure out where that last few cents are to make sure that we can handle that. And so thank you for that. And last but not least, two things, sorry. It was really great to be able to honor Maria, because I think that she represents hundreds of other people that I know of that live in our district that could live anywhere. That were educated here, that had an opportunity to go, as Ronnie was saying, anywhere they wanted, but chose to come back and to live in this district and to invest in the future. And super excited about that. And I think we need to continue to highlight that at a very high level. It's probably one of the things that makes this district so unique and so special, is the amount of people that come back and continue to invest. And then lastly, I think it's really great that education funding reform is trending. It's a topic that our legislature is paying attention to. I think that we cannot rest, though. So tell everybody that you know to tweet, call, influence in any way they can, so that we can keep that momentum moving forward. It's vital.
They count every call.
They count every call.
Yeah, they do. Thank you, Mr. Anderson, for the pledge tonight and securing that from that young Marine. It's wonderful to have a graduate participate in such an impactful way.
That's fun.
And speaking of impact, I think the impact article concerning Klein this week was excellent. And it's such a great way to reach all our constituents. And it was written well, and I just really appreciate all the efforts and the opportunities that we have to present what is really happening in Klein through that periodical. And today, as Dr. Champion mentioned, we went to the Fast Growth Texas impact meeting. Impact is really the word here.
Right.
And I'm almost afraid of this favorable attitude that people who are in contact with legislators are feeling at this point. It's scary in a way. But I think we've got to get on this train, do our hard work, present it in every way possible, the need that we have for appropriate funding for the Texas students. And thank you, Dr. Champion, Jenny, communications people, but just for making your presence known. You revealed what is really happening within administration and with our students. Great efforts on your behalf, and thank you. Very much appreciated. You're the closer.
All right. All right. Well, I want to start where we began the meeting, which was with school board appreciation. You guys are a remarkable board, and I say it all the time because you talk to, I promise you, if we still had phone books, I would say go to a phone book, find a superintendent in the state of Texas, dial that superintendent, and have that superintendent talk about her board. And I promise you, the kinds of things that they are working through are not the kind of things that you continue to focus on. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you continue to do to keep the students at the center of what we do. And to that end, one of the things I love about the meetings that y'all have, that we have, but it's the board's meeting, is the celebrations, and we've talked about that a lot, just how important that is. And part of the reason that is true is because we talk a lot about things like call your legislator, and we got to get more funding for schools, and there's this movement, and you can sometimes lose sight as to why you're doing it. And yeah, we're doing it to keep top talent, but why? Why do we need to keep top talent? What is it really ultimately about? It just keeps funneling down to remembering the child in the chair. The child in the chair is what it's all about. And remembering that all of these things that we're doing, whether it's a school board meeting, or it's calling legislators, or it's a Klein Leadership Coalition, or it's police officers who are taking care of business left and right, or the accounting folks who are doing the CAFR or HR, or any of the stuff, the curriculum's being, you name it. It ultimately comes down to one kid in a classroom that matters. And y'all are incredible at remembering that. And part of the reason I believe that is true is because these meetings continue to celebrate the amazing work that our teachers do, the amazing work that our kids continue to bring to the table. We are so blessed in Klein ISD. The phrase that kept coming into my head tonight was Klein is family. Klein is family. Klein is family. Klein is family. And so it's just an honor to get to sit alongside y'all in this journey. So thank you. Thank you. And another special shout out for all those community conversations, because without the incredible planning and things like Dr. McGowan saying to me, now you need to write out your notes and not just speak from the slides, and the work of getting everything scheduled, and Christine making sure that all the dots are connected. I appreciate that too, and again, the communications team as well. So thank you to all you guys.
Well, there's no objections. It is now 9:40, 14.
Oh my goodness.
Is that right?
Yes.
It is. 9:14, and this meeting is closed.
All right.
Adjourned.